All right. What are the biggest unsolved problems in Web3? Any ideas? Let me help you then with one that I think is big and even goes beyond the border of Web3 itself, which is this one, which is kind of ironic because all of this started with Bitcoin, which allows you to burn an insane amount of energy just to prove that you're not a bot. But it seems that up to this point, we haven't made much progress. Then there is also this one. Are you a bad actor? Cryptography is extremely powerful. Back in the days, it was even forbidden to share the first code implementation of RSA. And we saw the exact same thing happening with ZK. The constant hacks in DeFi reminds us that this place is a dark forest, and the bad actors are there lurking in the darkness, just waiting there to take their shot. So they are going to benefit from all the privacy-preserving tools that we are building, unless we do something. And unfortunately, we don't have such solution yet. I mean, at least not at the smart contract levels. And if these two were not enough, now we also have to prove that we are real humans, because with the rise of AGI, it's soon going to be impossible to differentiate human activity from bots. And the current expectations are pointing towards 90% of the online content to be written by bots within the end of the year. So the best is to get prepared for that. And if we don't fight for privacy, the fallback solution is going to stay the well-known KYC, which is obnoxious for many reasons. First, it's not private. You are going to share all your personal information to the third-party verifier. And these information that are going to get stored in DBs, just waiting there to get hacked. Also, it's not secure from the application perspective. Using generative AI, again, it became childish to pass this KYC process. You can just do a deepfake or just generate mock images of ID documents. And lastly, the user experience is really bad. I think I did it something like 4 or 5 times in the past few months. And each time that's such a pain, like you need to find your ID document, scan it, do the liveness check, and then send it, and then wait for verification. If you have an app that needs to verify the identity of your users, you are going to experience a lot of drop-off at this point. And if decentralized identity is needed, it still remains inaccessible. We saw many attempts in the space to build this decentralized identity. The first ones were the general proof of personhood, like proof of humanity or IDNA. In the last one, you used to solve CAPTCHAs to prove that you're not a bot. But yeah, within the next 2 years, we could expect AI to solve CAPTCHAs that humans can't. Then you have the biometrics proof of personhood. These ones are super interesting. They are extremely private. But you need to deal with the constraint of hardware. So it's extremely hard to scale, and you need to trust the hardware at some point. So you could put a backdoor inside, or you could also trick the sensors. So that's why we decided to launch Self. The protocol is live since Eve Denver, and you can try it by yourself. Just look for Self ZK on the app stores. It's available on both. And if I'm here today is, of course, to tell you that all the issues that we saw before, they are now solved. Because Self can obviously help you to prove that you're not a bad actor, and can help you to prove that you're a real human, but it can also help you to prevent Sybil attacks on your protocol. And to do so, we decided to leverage the most trusted attestation of who you are, aka the biometric passport. These are a really good fit for that, for many reasons. First, they are quite hard to obtain, and people usually only own one biometric passport, unless you have a dual citizenship, in which case you're a lucky person. Then people have this genuine intuition that you should take care of your passport, and most of the time they don't lose it. And finally, they are machine readable. You can read a passport using OCR. On the main page of the passport, there are like these two lines, also known as the machine readable zone. And there is a check digit inside, and it's using a really specific font design for machine readability. But you can also scan it another way. Because do you know what's inside the biometric passport? Yeah, exactly. There's a chip inside. And this chip contains all the passport data, of course, but also the digital signature of the document. Because this document is also signed by the issuer country. Or more precisely, it's signed by the document signing certificate, which can sign up to 100K passports, which is itself signed by the country signing certificate authority, which is going to depend upon the country, but can rotate every 3 to 5 years. And these root certificates, they are published in public registries maintained by the International Civil Aviation Organization. So that's why it's so easy to verify that a passport is genuine. It's because anybody can have access to the public keys. So if I take my passport data and send it to you, that's the KYC process. You can tell me if that's a real passport or a mock one, because you can just take a look at the public keys and verify the signature. But we don't want to do that. We can do better. Using self and using ZK, of course, you can prove your identity without any counterparty. And to do so, instead of sending your passport data to the person or to the verifier, you are going to generate a zero-knowledge proof in which you are going to verify the digital signature of the document, but also the whole certificate chain. And the root certificates, we publish them on chain, on Merkle trees. So you just have to do a proof of inclusion of your root certificates inside this tree. But we can even do better, because instead of just proving that you own a biometric passport, you can also prove whatever is related to the passport data. So maybe that you are above a certain age, or that you are part of a specific country, or not on the OFAC list. And each time without revealing anything else. For the OFAC list, what we do is that we parse it into sparse Merkle trees, and then we let you do a proof of non-inclusion of, let's say, your passport number inside this sparse Merkle tree. So each time you are not going to reveal anything else than what you decided to disclose. That's it. All right. So remember when I said that it was super easy to verify the signature of a passport? Well, I lied. Because countries had the amazing idea to use different signature algorithm and hash function to sign these documents. You even have extremely weird setup like SHA-1 with SecP224R1, which is quite uncommon in the real life. But yeah, we're quite happy to show you this map today. You can find it on map.self.xyz. And if you're curious about which signature algorithm and hash function is used in your country, you can just go to this map and hover your country and you will see this information. Anyway, the country in dark green are the countries that are currently supported by self. If your country is not in green, it means that we are just working on the implementation. And if it's not issuing biometric passports, that's not a big deal, because let's take the example of India. India started to issue biometric passports last year, I think, and it's even not already available in all regions of India, but we already started to extend the support to Aadhaar, which is a local ID solution there. So, I mean, if your country is not issuing biometric passport, there is a really high chance that it's issuing some kind of other ID documents which is signed, and that we could integrate into self. All right, so what does the experience look like, and what's happening exactly under the hood? Well, the first step is the registration. in this one, you are going to first scan your passport using the camera of your phone. It's not taking a picture, it's just reading some fields. Because the chip inside the passport is protected by a password who's present on the main page of the passport. So this is the second step. In this one, you scan it using the NFC reader of the phone. And yeah, once it's done, it means that you onboarded the signature of the document and the passport data. And you are ready to generate your first zero knowledge proof, or should I say the two first zero knowledge proof. So there is one for the intermediary certificate and one for the biometric passport itself. So under the hoods, this is what's happening. As we said before, in this first ZKP, you are going to verify the digital signature of the document. But you are not going to reveal anything at this point. Instead, you are going to generate two things. The first one is a nullifier, which is a unique identifier for each attestation. So you can consider it as just a hash of the attestation. And the second one is a commitment, which is pretty similar, but the difference is that this time you are going to bring your own entropy inside. So just a secret. All right, so you generate the zero knowledge proof, and then the identity registry is going to verify it. So first, it verifies the ZK proof, then make sure that it's the first time that it sees the nullifier. And finally, he will add the commitments inside the commitment Merkle tree, updating the path to the root. And this means that, so this is the registration. Once it's done, you're registered inside the protocol. And it means that in a second time, you can do this disclosure proof about your identity. And in this one, you are also going to generate zero knowledge proof, but instead of verifying the digital signature of the documents, you can now just prove that your commitment is part of the commitment Merkle tree. And only you can do it, because only you knows the secrets and the passport data, of course. So this setup is extremely similar to the one of Semaphore, if you're familiar with it, or the one of Tornado Cache also. And there are two main benefits. The first one is that this proof of inclusion, they are extremely cheap to do, because it's only posted on hashes, which is super optimized for ZK. And the second one is that maybe you already noticed it, but with this second ZK proof, you are also going to generate a new nullifier. But this one is no longer generated deterministically on the passport data. Instead, it's based on the secrets, on your secrets and the scope, which is going to differ for each application. So you can see this as the contract address or the DNS, like an ID for the application you are disclosing to. So it means that even if your country is holding your passport information, he won't be able to know who you are and to link your identity with your biometric passport proof. And even better than that, these nullifiers are going to be different for each application I'm disclosing to. So let's say that for app A, I'm disclosing that I'm above 18 years old. And for app B, I'm disclosing that I come from Canada. I don't know. Then it means that nobody will be able to link these two proofs. So that's how, using ZK and biometric passports, we can now gatekeep on biometric passport data while staying fully anonymous. All right, so this is the UX for the disclosure proof. Most of the time you are going to scan the QR codes, and then it's going to get prompted on screen which information this app wants you to disclose, and you just have to acknowledge them, and then you can generate the disclosure proof. This one is super fast, and if it's dealing with sensitive information with, I don't know, let's say the passport number, or your name, or your date of birth, then as you saw on the video, it's going to, like you will see an extra pop-up saying, hey, this is really sensitive information. Just make sure that you want to really share this with this third-party application. All right, we also have a mobile SDK, so if you want to integrate this one inside another mobile application, you could open the Self app by just clicking on a button. Cool. So you may wonder where exactly we are generating these ZK proofs. So we used to do client-side proving before, but because of the constraints of ZK, we migrated to TEs, which is a trusted execution environment. So a TE is a black box. We can't see what's happening there, and it's issuing an attestation. In this attestation, there is a hash of the code who's running inside the TE. So the flow is the following. The mobile application is going to connect to the TE, verify the TE attestation, create the secure channel with the TE, and then share the passport data with it. And the TE is only designed to do two things. One, generates the ZK proof, and two, delete the passport data, and that's it. And even us, we don't have the hands on that. By the way, everything is open source and had been audited by ZK Security just before ETH Denver. Huge thanks to them, by the way. But yeah, of course, we plan to bring back client-side proving in the future. We can do it for the disclosure proof in the next few months. For the registration one, it's slightly different because if your country is a savage and is using like a big curl algorithm such as SHA-512 with SecP521, then the proving key, which is a file that you need to generate the zero-knowledge proof, can be up to 5 to 6 gigabytes. And that's not something, unfortunately, that you can ask people to download. So that's why we decided to offload the proving inside the team. But of course, I hope that new proving schemes are going to come up, and there are like some of them that are super promising. So yeah, of course, we plan to bring it back. All right, a few others learning that we had by building self. So the first one, as I was saying before, picking a proving scheme is actually extremely hard. It's all about trade-off. Do you want to do client-side proving, and then the proofs are no longer succinct, so you can't verify them on chain? That's the case of Spartan, for example. And then you need to wrap them again inside Grow16. So it starts to be a bit complicated. Or the opposite is you can't do client-side proving because you have huge ZKs, but then you can verify directly the proof on chain. So there is no godlike proving scheme. It's all about trade-off. But I hope it's going to change soon. Then iterating on production application with ZK, it's quite hard because you need to do a trusted setup ceremony each time you change the circuits. You also need to update the prover, you need to update the verifier. There is always a bunch of Merkle trees that you need to cache, so there are like many moving pieces. And yeah, talking about trusted setup ceremony, we did what was probably one of the largest trusted setup ceremony ever, with a bit more than 40 circuits that leads to proving keys that were between 2 to 6 GBs. So we used Potion, and thanks to the Potion team, but yeah, the tool broke many times. It's not perfectly ready for production yet. All right, and lastly, the LLMs, they are not good at all to write ZK circuits. They are hallucinating too much. So I guess they are just lacking of context, or maybe of training data. And yeah, I hope this is going to change soon. All right, just a quick word on our SDK. So if you're an application that needs to verify the identity of your users, so maybe you wanna protect against CBL resistance, or maybe you wanna make sure that they are above a certain age, or that they are not part of your fact list, then you can just extremely easily do this by verifying the ZK proof using our SDK. You can do this on the backend using the TypeScript SDK, or you can do it on a smart contract. On the front-end side, if you're a desktop-based application, you can integrate our QR code SDK, and if you're another mobile application, then you can just generate a deep link, which will open the self app. And by the way, if you're a wallet or an application that don't want his users to leave the app to go on the self app, then there is a mobile SDK that is coming soon, in which you could wrap the self app and do all the verification and generate the proof and everything inside your own mobile application. So we are currently building this one. If you're interested, please reach out to me because there is no such things than building the products with our customers. All right. Thanks for your time. I hope you appreciated this talk as much as I did. And I think we still have 5 minutes for a Q&A session. So let's do it. Thanks.
Thanks for your talk. At some point you mentioned that some proofs are on-chain friendly for verification and some are not. Are you sending the proofs that the user generates to be verified on-chain or in the back end of someone?
All right, that's an amazing question. So the proofs that are about verifying the identity of someone, it's totally up to the application itself. So in the SDK, you are going to say, hey, I want this proof to be sent to my backend, and then you put an endpoint. But you can also say, hey, I want this proof to be directly verified on-chain. And then you can just put the contract address directly. And it's a bit like Chainlink VRF. You can put a callback function inside your contract that is going to be triggered by our relayer.
Because at some point you mentioned the proving keys, and my understanding, but I'm not a cryptographer, that some proving schemes like Spartan with ProofKit from WorldCoin don't require a proving key? Or I'm wrong? Or it doesn't require a verifier key?
No, that's right. They don't directly require a proving key, but they are not succinct. For example, the Spartan proofs. So you can't verify them on-chain.
Yeah, so you could verify them in the back end of the application, right?
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I think that what they plan to do is wrap these Spartan proofs inside Row 16 to make it succinct.
But what if you skip the wrapping and verify the proofs off-chain because they're not
then
succinct?
that's okay. You can do it, definitely.
What are the biggest services or the apps ecosystems that you've integrated in?
Excuse me, can you repeat?
What are the biggest products, the apps, ecosystems that you're integrated in? Oh,
that's an amazing question. So the first product, so the protocol is only live since Eve Denver, but the main integration that we have now is with Talent Protocol, which maybe you know it, but it's kind of going to give you a builder score, and they want to make sure that you can actually hire these people and pay them. So you are going to disclose that you are above 18 and that you are not part of the OFAC list. We have a lot of other partnerships coming soon, but I can't talk about this right now.
Yeah, from Talent Protocol, Pedro, the founder, he was kind of complaining how difficult it was to verify GitHubs of developers. So maybe at some point you're gonna integrate with Bitbucket, GitHub, or anything in this area. Would be helpful for the whole hiring ecosystem. Yeah, thanks.
Thanks.
All right. Thank you, Rémi. I think that's one more. Okay, one more. Yeah, one more.
Yeah. So you mentioned that you use cryptography for security. Nowadays, it's quite a good solution, but when the humanity comes to the day when we will be able to use like quantum computing, what will be your solutions for that?
All right, that's a really good question too. So we just have to migrate to a proving scheme that is quantum resistant. There are already some of them out there in the wild, and the proof that you already generated using self, even if quantum computing comes up tomorrow, you can't break the privacy of this proof. What you could do instead would be generate mock proofs. So you can like generate a mock passport using quantum computing and verify this proof. But at any point, you won't be able, it's just like the hashes function. So you won't be able to break the privacy of a proof and extract the passport information from it, if this makes sense. All right. Perfect. Thank you.